Hey, it's me, Bert, and I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. I just reached 500 subscribers, and so to thank all my subscribers, I'm doing a very special video today, one I've wanted to do for a long time, where I go over every vintage Star Wars figure and their modern counterpart. But I'm going to go through it fast, so listen up.
No Skill Customs.
Now, a video like this, every vintage figure and its modern counterpart, is not actually as straightforward as it might seem, because there's some vintage figures where who knows really what the sculptor was basing the figure on, and there's other ones where maybe the figure could be one character, but it's colored like a different character. So I'm just going to go with what my opinion is. You can disagree, but we're going to go through that. And please understand, this is not every vintage collection figure. A lot of these figures, that would make a great video, but a lot of these figures don't have vintage collection counterparts, and in some instances they do have vintage collection counterparts, but there's another version of the figure that's actually, in my opinion, superior to the vintage collection version. So we'll see that. I'll talk about that when I get there. So without further ado, let's check out the tower. This is the tower tour, and what I've done is I've taken this is how I display all my vintage figures, and I've gone and put the modern version next to each one. Now you'll see some of my vintage figures have multiples. That means there's some sort of a variation. Okay, maybe it's a color thing, maybe it's just a country of origin thing. I've never really sought out variants. I just kind of ended up with them and couldn't decide on which one to keep and which one to pass on to Nipper or, you know, maybe someone on eBay. Hasbro right now is making a big push to remake all the original 96 figures. So there's many figures where the figure I have on my shelf is actually, in just a matter of months, not going to be the best version, the best update of the original figure, and I'll bring those up as well. Right now, my figures are loosely arranged in release order. Okay, I've altered some things to have characters paired together, like having R2-D2 next to C-3PO. That was important to me, having all the bounty hunters together, all the Ewoks. So I have kind of broken from that order once in a while. All right, but let's start things off right here with C-3PO and R2-D2. For C-3PO, the best modern update of that figure is the Saga Collection number 42 figure. For R2-D2, the best modern version I consider to be the Resurgence of the Jedi R2-D2. For Obi-Wan Kenobi, the best modern update is the Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid number 34, or the Resurgence of the Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi. For Luke Skywalker, back to that Resurgence of the Jedi pack. Just go buy that pack if you haven't done it already. I know it's hard to find. For Han Solo, I go with the Yavin Ceremony Han Solo. I think that's the best update of him. I, of course, don't put the Yavin medal on him. Plus, if you think about it, he doesn't actually look like that in the Yavin Ceremony. I just like his face a little bit better than the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection version. For Chewbacca, you've got to go with the Vintage Collection number 141. I just feel like maybe it's not actually my favorite Chewbacca, but in terms of what the original vintage one looks like, with the New Hope styling of the hair, I feel like that's the closest version. I kind of like how he looks in Empire and Jedi a little bit better. But for Princess Leia, the best version of Princess Leia so far is Vintage Original Trilogy Collection, the 2004 Princess Leia. She could really stand to have an update, let me tell you. Next up, the Jawa Vintage Collection number 161, or if you like getting two Jawas for the price of one, you can get them in the Black Series 3.75-inch collection. And of course, if you didn't understand that, he comes with a second Jawa there. Now the Tuscan Raider, or he's called Sand People in the original toy line. This is the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection Tuscan Raider, or also the Vintage Saga Collection, rather. There's going to be a new Walmart exclusive one coming out. This is 2021, so coming out later this year. All right, now here's a little bit of controversy for you. For R5-D4, I don't actually like the Vintage Collection one very much. So I go with the Saga Collection R5D4. I just think that's a really nice figure. All right, moving down to the next row, we're going to start off with Luke Skywalker and X-Wing gear. Now, this figure was available twice. The Vintage Collection 158 on his own, or if you get the San Diego Comic-Con 3-pack of Luke Skywalkers, you'll be set for 3 of the figures that are in our little list today. So that's a good choice. Darth Vader. Now, this was a tough call. Obviously, Darth Vader came out in 1978, just after A New Hope and before Empire. But if you look at him, somehow or another, he's kind of styled more like Empire. He's got the black fabric going underneath his chest armor. So I went with a Empire/Jedi styled Darth Vader. Actually, technically, they say it's Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader, but I don't know. It could fit for Empire and Jedi. I just love this figure. He's Black Series 3.75 inch. Be careful, because there's a couple Black Series 3.75 inch Vaders, and not all of them are good. You have to find the one that came in the TIE Fighter style packaging on a bubble. Okay, do not buy the one that's in the box. It's not worth your time. All right, now here comes Greedo. And funny story, this actually isn't the best Greedo out there, but it's all the same sculpt, and they're really close. This is the Vintage Saga Collection Greedo. And the best one, I would say, is they re-released him, and I didn't realize he was different, and that's the Saga Legends Greedo. Just slightly better paint. You have Hammerhead. His packaging says Momaunaden. Okay, they haven't used that Hammerhead name in a while. And for him, Saga Collection number 31 is the best version of him. Right, and then we have the blue Snaggletooth. And for him, I'm going to put this guy right here. Okay, and I'll tell you why. All right, they did make a modern blue Snaggletooth, but when you think about it, blue Snaggletooth doesn't actually exist in the movies, and this is really what he was based on. This Tequil, actually I think they call him Zuttin, this one, because he's got a little more hair going on. And they made a Vintage Collection number 189 one, or you can get them in the special action figure set. The difference in color is very minor. Okay, this is actually the special action figure set one. Then we have the red Snaggletooth. Actually, in a way, the first expanded universe Star Wars figure there was, because this guy also, well, I mean, maybe the blue Snaggletooth could be considered it, but this guy also doesn't appear in the movies. This guy is found in the holiday special. Okay, and so in the Power of the Jedi line, they made an Zuttin short, just like he was in the holiday special, but his costume is a little more accurate to the holiday special, and he's featured right here. Then we have Walrus Man. Okay, and of course his figure is Panda Baba, and that's a Vintage Collection figure, Vintage Collection number 70, or what's easier to find is the Black Series 3.75 inch Panda Baba. And next we have what was known as the Death Star droid. Here you can see him as RA7. Now this was available a couple different ways. He was a Build-A-Droid, but he was also in the special action figure droid set. But you know what? You might want to hold off and not get this figure, because a metallized, I don't think it's vac metal, but a lot shinier version of him is coming out later this year. So look for that one instead. Then one of my all-time favorite updates is the update to the Power Droid, and he is Vintage Collection number 167. Just a really amazing figure there. Next up after that, for the Death Squad Commander, I feel like the best choice for that one is the Imperial Navy Commander. He was available as Vintage Collection number 94, but probably a little bit easier to find in the Black Series 3.75 inch collection. Next up after that, the Stormtrooper. And I chose Vintage Collection number 171, and that's our Rogue One Stormtrooper. Just love that figure. And that concludes part 1 of every vintage figure in its modern update. I know that Boba Fett was featured on a Star Wars card back, but I'm going to feature him in the Empire Strikes Back version, which is coming out next, of course, just so he could be with his bounty hunter friends. So I'll see you then. Like and subscribe, and you'll know when that video comes out, because I don't know yet. Bye.